morning. Thanks for joining us on AM Chat. It is indeed wonderful to know that you woke up well as we are here to make your day memorable. It is history time in Nigeria as, the impending strike that we've been told will take place today. In some parts of the country, we've seen people come out, and even in Lagos State, we've seen people come out despite the court injunction that the strike should not go on. If you notice, I have a touch of blue this morning, to portray the mood of Nigerians. I am a proud Nigerian, and indeed, there is a lot in our hearts this morning. The heart is heavy, the spirit is weak, but we'll try as much as possible to lay credence to what we have to say today. My name is Anure Benitie. Welcome. I am not alone this morning. I have my girl with a touch of blue too, Romelia Esangodo. Good morning, girl.
Good morning, darling. How are you?
Okay.
Good morning. Oh, come on, give me a smile. Just smile. Just smile. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, everyone. It's a good day to be back here. Today is the 18th day of May. Yes, today the NLC, they're supposed to go on strike, but there has been a court injunction restraining them from going on that strike. Yes, there are issues. There is a reason why. Should they not have? What are the issues? Are the things we will be talking about today on the show. Anire, what do you think?
Well, like someone greeted me this morning, Echo strike. And you're supposed to answer.
I think. But anyway, yes, strike or no strike, the show must go on. And because we know you're there, because we know you will be there to listen and hear what we have to say, we cannot but bring out the topics and the issues that pertain to all of us, that we all talk about. Yes, it pinches every one of us right where we are. So, yes, we'll be talking about the strike action, the court injunction. Why was the strike dead on arrival? Why was it that, like Anira said, yes, the spirit is weak? Why are Nigerians not just interested at this time around? Those are the issues we'll be talking about, and also a lot of matters that would arise. For example, we've heard that some parts of Lagos, there has been some agitation going on here on Ikorodu Road. We want to tell our viewers, please be very vigilant, be watchful. There are lots of flashpoints in Lagos. Watch out for those, major bus stops, major areas where we know mayhem can, easily happen. Just be on the lookout and be very vigilant and be safe. Stay out of trouble.
Stay out of trouble.
If you don't have to go on that trip, please stay where you are.
Just stay out of trouble. It is very, very important at this time. Make sure you know where your children are at this time. Make sure you know where everything is at this time. It is very, very important. Okay, we'll go on a short break. When we return, we shall be going straight into the newspaper review segment. There are lots of stories this morning, and one of our guests is around. We're expecting another one. Stay with us. Yes, welcome back. If you're just joining us, it is a newspaper review segment this morning, and we have our papers already here. On my beat, I have the Punch newspaper, I have the Nation, the New Telegraph, and the Daily Sun.
And I have the Guardian newspaper, I have the Nigerian Tribune, and the Daily Trust.
And our analyst is in the house. It's someone new, someone you've not seen before on this beat. And he is Mr. Murphy Abaduni. He's a social commentator as well as a political analyst. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Murphy.
morning.
It's so nice to have
you here.
you.
Good
You
morning,
know,
viewers.
usually when we start the program, we'll try to pick the mind of anyone sitting right there on that chair to let us know his take on the Nigerian polity, to help us know where his mind is about the nation Nigeria. What's your take in 1 minute?
Nigeria is a nation that is going, a country, but I don't think we are yet a nation, that is going through a very tough time at this time. And I want to seize this opportunity to appeal to Nigerians to be very patient and give the government some time, and also ensure that they guide the government as we proceed, and let us see where the journey ends. But I'm hoping that Nigeria, come rain or sun, Nigeria wouldn't be where it was. Nigeria is going to be better for it at the end of the day. It's a price we're paying.
Okay. All right, so Romelu, you start the papers.
Yes, I have the Guardian newspaper, and I will start with that as my first newspaper for today. And the leading headline is Labour shuns court order as strike begins today. With 4 riders from the Guardian newspaper, TUC opts out. ASU urges members to protest. Buhari had no option outside new price regime, says the Vice President. And government sets 6 months to present new minimum wage. And Senate seeks speedy provision of palliatives. That story is on the front page. And why government is yet to disburse 362.639 billion naira funds for capital projects, delay stores recall of construction workers. That story continues from the front page on to page 6. Grazing reserves may not be ready till 2018. How bid will end herdsmen, farmers clashes. On page 37, EFCC arrests Jero over alleged 700 million naira election loot. And on business, from the Guardian newspaper, UBA appoints 5 new executive directors. From page 5, Buhari to kick off Ogoniland cleanup next month. And on page 3, we resisted pressure to convict Tinubu, says Umar. That's all I have from the Guardian newspaper. Mr. Murphy, Labour shuns court order as strike begins today. Why would they want to take that route, knowing full well that a court order is a court order? Why would they want to violate that court order, that court injunction?
Yes, I think from what I learned, Labour was not part of that sitting, that court judgment that eventually restrained them from proceeding with the strike. And, well, at the same time, I don't think the strike is going to, or the protest, whichever, is going to make much impact, because if you can see, the most vibrant part of Labour is not part of this strike, which is Nupeng, Pengasan. And once they are not involved, the strike will automatically not make much impact.
No, some people were actually saying that if Nupeng and the NUROWT or whatever, if they actually join in the impending strike, that it will actually carry weight. That's exactly what you're saying, and you think that is
You think that
how?
is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Because they are the most vibrant aspect of Labour. They may not be the biggest part of Labour, but they are the most vibrant. Especially when you consider the areas of their jurisdiction, petroleum, anything that has to do with petroleum, as far as Nigeria is concerned, touches an average family.
Okay.
If they are to be involved in this strike, that means, first of all, there won't be distribution of petroleum products.
Okay.
But once they are not involved, and there
That would
is
be a total halt to the nation's
everything.
economy.
yes, but since they are not involved, maybe though I suspected Labour can proceed with the strike, and the government, that can also make government to be hastier in attending to whatever their demand is, because from the way it is, definitely we are going through a very hard time, and maybe government should do something about minimum wage as soon as possible.
Anyway.
Okay, we're moving on now to the Punch newspaper. And the headline says, NLC walks out of meeting with federal government, begins strike today. With 2 riders, we won't participate in strike, says TUC. No work, no pay. Federal government wants civil servants. And above the mosque, EFCC seizes Fani Kayode's passport, detains ex-governor Yero. We have more of that story on page 7. And on page 8, we'll hold parallel convention, says PDP ex-governors, former ministers. Still on page 8, I beg your pardon, Saraki failed to declare 375 million London property. Saraki failed to declare 375 million naira London property, says witness. We have more of that story on page 7. Federal government pays marketers 48 billion naira subsidy arrears. That's on page 25 and on page 14. Ghost workers. Bauchi suspend 2 permanent secretaries. Others. Man kills father, mother, 2 siblings in Yobe. These are terrible times, terrible, terrible times. We have more of that story on page 5. And finally, on the Punch newspaper this morning is a pictorial of something very terrible also. 1 dies, 40 vehicles destroyed in Ladipo market mayhem. We have more of that story on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. So much stories on the Punch newspaper this morning, and still talking about the NLC situation. We can't but keep talking about, because that's exactly where we are right now in our history as a people. NLC walks out of meeting with federal government, begins strike today. Now we've heard that in some parts of Nigeria, they actually went ahead. Yesterday on the news, Oyo State actually said even if the NLC goes ahead and halts the strike, they will definitely go ahead with the strike. Now the question we are asking is, the Nigerian people expect so much from the federal government, but yet it's like the more you look, the less you see. If the strike would eventually go ahead, let's assume we wake up tomorrow, it continues as anticipated, do you see the federal government buckling? Do you see any change in the decisions that they've made by their actions so far?
Yes, I think from history, one would say yes, because over the time, when we have issues like this, laborers usually embark on strike, and at the end of the day, there are usually negotiations. Okay. So they could negotiate, and
you see that hope for now with the new government that we have in place?
Yes, but at the same time, we've never had this kind of strike or protest that most of the parties are.
It seems divided. The
yes,
House divided against
itself.
itself.
Are pulling out. Just like I think you rightly mentioned on the program before now that the strike died
on arrival.
So with the present situation, government may not do much, but I think we should look beyond just the strike. Okay. Like if you can watch very well, you see that this is the first time we're having this kind of situation that people feel very less concerned. And I think that is not far from the fact.
Why do you think people are? Because we were having a conversation yesterday, and she was actually just practically crying bitterly that Nigerians have become almost complacent. We're like, okay, whatever.
2012,
is that what's
by
going
now,
on?
Ojota was bubbling. Abuja was
exactly.
Right, so why that disparity in response? Why was 2012 so successful, and fast forward 4 years later, the same issues, though under different circumstances,
just,
but everybody
the phrase,
you don't look.
Yes, you know why? Let me just give you 2 major reasons. One, Nigerians now have a government that, one way or the other, there is so much trust. There is this love and trust that Nigerians have for this man called PMB. That this man is not going to eat our money. This man is not going to deceive us. That is number one. So whatever, look at the hardship Nigerians are going through this period due to government policies. Though policies that are meant to be for the betterment of Nigerians, maybe over time. But for now, we are paying a very high price for it. But Nigerians are really coping. Back then, 2012, people went to street mainly because they did not even trust the system. People do not even trust.
All right, so what I'm getting from what you're saying is in 2012, Nigerians trusted the NLC more than they trusted the government. And now the reverse is the case.
You trust
the
the
Nigerians
government
trust the
more
government
than the
more than the
NLC.
NLC. Because the crux of this matter is
the
the
NLC,
strike and the NLC.
the NLC is secondary here.
Okay.
The government first. 2012, people do not believe so much in the government.
Okay.
This time around, people believe
In
the
the
government,
government.
and do not also forget, people are not aware. Political awareness 2012 cannot be compared to the political awareness
We
of
have
today.
now.
People are more politically inclined
Aware,
now.
yeah.
People now understand that, well, this economy is down, Nigeria is broke, it is supposed to they can't do this, well, let us bear with them. That's kind of
All right.
scenario.
Okay. I'm going to move on now to the Nigerian Tribune. And the leading headline is, despite court order, Labour begins strike. With riders works out on a federal government negotiating team. Ajero faction, TUC back out of strike. ASU joint strike. No work, no pay, federal government tells workers. And Senate backs 145 naira per litre price of petrol. That story continues on page 2. Again, PDP breaks into two. With the riders, Modu Sharif faction holds convention in Port Harcourt, Ghana group in Abuja. Court nullifies Southwest PDP Zonal Congress. And PDP, myself, were impersonated in suit against convention, says Sharif. And no court order stopping PDP convention, says Wike. That story continues on page 5. And on page 2, a militant attack raised global crude oil price to $50 per barrel. Senate withdraws anti-social media bill. That story is on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. On page 4, Diziani Gates, EFCC arrests Kaduna ex-governor Yero. I was under serious influence during Tinubu's trial, says the CCT chairman on page 6. That's all from the Nigerian Tribune. Mr. Murphy, I want us to move away just slightly a little bit from the labor issue, and let's go back home to the Niger Delta. And let's go back to the South-South. On page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune is the militant attacks raised global crude oil price to $50 per barrel. Now the attack is raising crude oil price, but I just want to dwell on the attacks. The militants attacking the pipelines. What could be their grievances that is so bad to be destroying properties? Is there any other way they can go about, bringing out their issues and tabling whatever it is that is bothering them other than destruction?
First of all, let me express my dissatisfaction with their actions so far, because I am from that very region, and it will not be fair for us to commend illegal activities, criminal activities. That it is very bad, and they must put an end to this. Being that as it may, I want to also ask, who are these guys? What do they want? Are they really representing the interests of the Niger Delta people? If they are, what have they done with the resources that they got within the past years? Yar'Adua's administration created a platform, and they had a negotiation, and so many of them at the end of the day became multi-billionaires
Through that program.
through that process. And Jonathan came and gave so many of them contracts upon contracts. They became multi-billionaires at the end of the day. Today, so many of them have universities abroad. They don't even have any within the Niger Delta region. What have they done for the Niger Delta people? And now, if they are destroying pipelines, do you destroy the same area you want to develop? That is not true. So what I'm trying to say, these are guys who are fighting for personal interests, personal gains.
So how should the federal government address this issue? The UK envoy had told the Buhari administration not to go, about it the way they wanted to. That's it's saying they were going to deal with them the way they dealt with the Boko Haram, people. How do you think the federal government should begin to, go to this negotiation table and discuss with them and find a possible lasting solution,
exactly.
To their grievances, whatever they may be?
Just like I was discussing off with a friend down there, when problems are politicized, it becomes pretty difficult to handle. Because first of all, like I asked earlier, who are these guys? Do you discuss? Yar'Adua did it. Jonathan did his own bit by making all of them smile to the bank every left, right, and said they were going to the bank. But now, these people are calling themselves Niger Delta Avengers. So that tells you that there will never be an end to it. If you continue to compensate criminals, there will never be an end to it.
Okay.
First of all, government should look into how do we develop these areas. Don't compensate individuals, develop the area.
So the money is given as compensation should actually go to the people at the
Development.
grassroots.
Develop the area.
Complete development.
That is what the people will benefit from. Don't make criminals billionaires. Develop Niger Delta.
I love that.
Then over the time too, I think if we, the opportunity will come, like they had the national, the conference, I was expecting the Niger Delta to go and tell federal government that they want to control their resources. If it is possible, let them control their resources.
But
amend the constitution. Let states or let the Niger Delta region control their resources.
that's a topic for another day, and I suppose
Stop
we'll invite-
enriching individuals and
We'll invite you
criminals.
when we talk about that. Okay, we're moving on now to the Nation newspaper, and it says the NLC splits as court halts planned fuel price strike, and WABA's NLC to go ahead as TUC pulls out. Government to workers, don't stay away. And above that story, court restrains Fayose-backed Ekiti PDP executives. CCT chair, I was under pressure to convict Tinubu. We have more of that story on page 44 of the Nation newspaper.